So, for the past couple of days, we've been taking a look at this article called, "Is Summer Break Necessary?" And I know we've been looking in the text for information and evidence to prove both sides of the debate. That yes, we should have that long summer break like we do here, or no, maybe that's not the best idea for students. So what we're going to do to start off today is we're going to reread the article together so that way our brains are focused on the text and the evidence the author has given us. Okay, so let's all take a look. You all have it out. We're going to reread together. All right, be focused, ready to go. All right, here we go. Is summer break necessary? For many kids, summer break is the best time of the year. They are free from classes. They are free from waking up to an alarm clock. And they are free from homework. An old rhyme says, "No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks." But is summer break good for students? Would it be better if school went all year? Many schools in the United States have 180 days of school. Then they have a long summer break. This schedule was first used in the early 1900s. Before that, the school calendar was much different. The largest cities used to have 240 to 260 days of school each year. There were 4 quarters. 1 quarter was each season of the year. They had short breaks between each, but children were not required to go to school. Many students only came to school part of the year. They spent less time in class than students today. Back then, doctors thought too much time in school could harm a child's health. They believed students and children were physically and mentally weak. They didn't think kids should spend so much time in a classroom. By 1900, the school year had been shortened by 60 days. They got rid of the summer quarter. Summer became the break time for several reasons. The heat of the summer made school buildings too hot. Some people thought that being in hot, crowded places spread disease. Also, rich families took vacations to get away from the summer heat. Other families were starting to do the same. School in areas away from the cities was different. Children there spent 2 or 3 months of school in the winter. Then they spent 2 or 3 months in the summer. In the spring and fall, they worked on their farms. The population grew. The distance between the cities and the rural areas got smaller. Some worried that the rural students weren't getting enough time in the classroom. They made the school year longer. They switched to a summer break. They wanted to be more like the city schools. 100 years have passed. For many schools, the schedule hasn't changed. We know more about how children learn. We know that students are not too weak. They are able to attend school year-round. Air conditioning helps. It lets people live and work even in the hottest part of the country. So why do students in the USA still get a summer break? Traditions are hard to change. Summer break is a time for family vacations and activities. Families do things they don't have time for during the school year. Summer break is time for students to take extra classes to get ahead. They may also retake classes they struggled with before. Summer is a chance to get a part-time job to earn money. Summer gives students time to attend a camp. It's time to focus on something like music or sports. Schools benefit from the summer break too. During summer, schools save money. They don't have to provide transportation. They don't have to provide meals or other services. Teachers use the summer break to take classes. These classes are required for their school jobs. Some may get another job to make more money. But summer break also causes problems for students. Students' scores on tests often drop over the summer. Many teachers spend time every year reviewing material from last year. Is this class time being wasted? Would students learn and remember better without the long summer break? Schools in many other countries have a longer school day. They also have a longer school year. In Australia, students attend school 200 days a year. They have 4 quarters. There are short breaks between each. In China, students start school from early September. They end, I'm sorry, just lost my place there. They end in mid-July. Their school day starts at 7:30 a.m. It ends at 5 p.m. They have a 2-hour break for lunch. The school year in Japan starts in April. It ends the next March. Their schedule is divided into 3 terms. There are short breaks between each. Japanese students are in school for 243 days a year. Officials worry about less time in school for U.S. students. They think this means that U.S. students learn less than those in other countries. Students in the U.S. have lower test scores in math and science than students in many Asian countries. In those countries, students are in school longer during the day. They are also in school for more days each year. Some believe that more time in school won't help. They believe that the current schedule should be changed. They want time used better. They feel less time should be spent in classes like art and music. More time should be spent in math and science. This would give students the extra instruction they need, but it wouldn't add days to the school year. Others believe that elective classes are necessary. These classes give students a well-rounded education. They give the students more interest in school. Activities such as band and choir increase school attendance. They decrease the dropout rate. Some schools are trying different kinds of schedules. Some schools are using an extended year calendar. They spread the school days out throughout the year. They have bigger breaks between each quarter and a shorter summer. Other schools are trying schedules that have a longer school year, but they have half days of school once or twice a week. This gives students time for jobs. It gives them time for sports and other activities. So, is summer break necessary? It depends on who you ask. So now, that is the question that you're going to be discussing today in your groups. You've spent some time pulling out evidence for both sides of the argument, okay? So today is your day to start thinking about what you believe, using this information you have just learned from this text. Because we are going to be writing those letters to Dr. Smith, our superintendent, to give him some advice and suggestions about our school year calendar here. Do we think it should stay the way it is now with our 8-week summer break? Or do we think we should make some changes? That's up for you to decide. So as you're working in your groups discussing this question, I want to remind us here of our expectations for working in a group. Remember, one person talks at a time. Our eyes are on the speaker, our ears are listening, our bodies are still. We use that evidence and language from the text to support your thinking in your own words. I noticed some friends in other lessons really trying to make their partners explain what that piece from the text means to them. That's a great strategy. Remind classmates to use evidence if they forget, right? Because you may forget, but be a helpful friend. Ask them for that evidence. Add on to what others say. And then, of course, ask questions if you're confused. It's okay to ask questions. It's a good thing, okay? So your job is to discuss that focus question. Is summer break necessary? All right, are there any questions before you get started on what your focus is today? All right, let's use those indoor voices. What do you think? Summer break necessary or not? All right. So why don't you guys get started here?
I think summer break is necessary because then you don't really have a lot of time to do like a sport or an activity. You can't focus on the work.
Remember, eyes on the speaker. Eyes on the speaker.
And then you don't have like a lot of time to do that. So I think the long summer break is good because then you have time to actually like do something
During the school year.
Summer break. I think summer break should be shortened by 1 day, so we get like a 1 day extra learning period. I get what you mean. Every like Saturday, like a 3-hour one, we could like.
So you kind of have conflicting opinions right now?
I'm thinking the same thing because we should have on Saturdays, we should maybe have like a 3-hour thing starting at like 9, 12, or like 12 to 3, something like that.
So, Jack, you think that the time should be changed?
Yeah, like to 12:30, not particularly like 3.
Okay.
Good idea.
Their ideas can kind of help you push it one way or the other before you make that decision. Think about what your partner's saying. See if that helps.
I agree with Claudia because it might have like a couple days to visit your family. It might take a long time to drive there. So that's it.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
What made you come up with that idea?
Well, if you shorten the school time, you won't be able to have see your grandparents and see some of your cousins.
Okay, so I have a question for you, right? So you're worried about not having time to go see family. Now, does this article, does it say anywhere in the text that you would not get a break? No. So what does it suggest doing instead of a long break?
That you could have a little shorter break.
Okay, so you would still have breaks, right? Just not one long one. So do you think you might still have time to go visit family during a 2-week break instead of an 8-week break?
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to think for a second. Why do we come to school?
To learn.
Okay, so being in school, part of what we're here for is to learn. So what do you think you could do over the summer that would make that better or maybe not as good as being in school here to learn? I'm going to leave you guys with that to talk about. I see 3 ideas ready to jump out. So continue that discussion there.
Okay, so what you can do during the summer is that if you forget anything,
They can go away from home and not have a limited time, like have 4 weeks and then you have to be back in school.
Griffin, focus your eyes on the speaker.
What do you guys think?
Ooh, I like that you added a question. Looks like Lewis is hard at thought over there. What are you thinking, Lewis?
I'm thinking of what to say, but I know what question I want, but I can't explain it.
Okay, take a look at your question card. See if one of those beginnings might help you come up with a way to ask it.
What was your question again?
What was your...
You get to choose what you want to do. Like,
I'm sorry, not question, opinion.
okay. I said that they can choose what they want. They don't have a limited time to like go on vacation. Our limited time is 4 weeks, and you have to be back. You can go away for the whole summer. Sometimes people do go, like if it's after a break. Sometimes people are still on vacation, so you don't have to go back. But you can if you don't have time. Vacation doesn't like end.
So I want you to think about what it said in the text here, about what it used to be like then for school. When they made that school year longer, what happened about kids needing to go to school? Okay, why don't you flip back to the front? Let's go back into the text. Okay, so a while ago, okay, the school year in the United States, remember they said it was really long?
All year, and so they didn't need to go to school, which meant that they didn't learn as much. And when they grow up, they may not really know a lot of stuff, and so they're having a hard time learning.
Okay.
School is important, but it's not from you have to go all the time.
Okay, so Garrett was suggesting, it sounded like, what were you suggesting over here?
Some people don't have to go back to school because after a grade they may still be on vacation.
So does that sound similar to the way it used to be? So what do you think about going back to that then, Lewis and Griffin? What do you guys think then about going back to a school schedule like that Garrett's suggesting? Where it was longer, but they weren't required. They could stay on vacation longer if they wanted to. So talk to each other about that. See what you think.
Well, if the school year is longer, then it's good to have breaks in between, but you should be required to go to school.
Yeah, but like I was saying, some people
They can stay cool.
but air conditioning if they have air
I agree with Kayla because if it's like too hot, we pretty much wouldn't gonna have ice cream pretty much like every week or something because it's too hot.
Summer is also a time for kids to enjoy music and sports and outside activity because in the winter it's too cold to play sports usually.
Yeah.
I agree with summer break. Really, if you have a longer school, it's kind of just like Kayla's idea. 2.5 days in a week. If you want to play like some sports, but it's over the summer. And probably if there's like a shorter summer, really, you just have school.
Round table, make sure you're focused.
Have school on that sport.
And if we try playing sports in the winter, we couldn't. And then in the summer, we can play sports whenever we want.
Yeah, I agree with Kayla, Slater, and Connor.
Ooh, so I see you just slid your paper over. Why did you do that?
Because I thought students should have a longer summer break.
And what were you thinking before when you started this conversation? What were you thinking when you started? When you started, your paper was over here.
No ideas. I was thinking of some people said not to.
So what made you change your mind?
Short summer break because I think we should have a summer break because people because high school and middle school could get a job.
Okay.
Get more time.
Okay, so yes, in the text it did mention that. But why do you think that would be important?
And all of them have over 200 days of school. I would ask you one question.
And why do people need a job?
To get money. Yeah, we should save and get money.
Okay, all right, so that is a possibility. I have a question for you. Why do we come to school?
No.
To learn. Okay, so knowing that yes, have fun while we're learning, of course. Okay, so knowing that that's why we come to school, what do you think about our school schedule that's going to help students do that and learn the most they can?
Have more in math and science other than school.
Is there something in the text that makes you think that?
I think it's in the front.
I don't think it's in the front. Maybe it's in the back. Well, in the back it says people could get a job.
Oh, I see them looking back in there for it. Did you find it?
Oh, more time should be spent in math and science.
Okay, so Snyder's suggestion, right, coming from the text, was that maybe more time spent on math and science. Do the three of you agree or disagree?
I disagree. Chris, can I start? Then you can add on. I disagree
Okay, good.
with
One person at a time.
I disagree with you because if there was no other, like, if there was no specials or things like music and choir.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be special. I'm saying there should be less time on specials.
But I disagree with that because if there's only a little bit of time in special, school wouldn't be as interesting, and they might move to go to a different school.
I agree with you because there's going to be less people in the school than the other.
I disagree with Snyder, and I agree with Caleb.
No, we're saying the same thing actually. He changed his mind.
I actually think this. I actually think the same thing.
Well, that's not a good idea.
I'm thinking the same thing because people could have like should have a longer time in special than like a shorter time in special.
I agree with Chris.
Tell us why you think that.
Because if you had school in summer, then it would be just easier, right? Because then there would be a little break, I think, before the new school year starts, where you could get all your school supplies and stuff. And if you get math facts and stuff, you can practice them over the short days. I mean, the days off school. But if you had summer school, like if you had it, like I heard you talking about it earlier, if you had summer school, you wouldn't necessarily need it if you had a shorter summer break, because you would still, you would get, like, it would be broken up into 4 quarters, and you would still get a vacation, but you would have a bit, like, you wouldn't have a really long summer break, so you would still go to school. I have one more question for you guys, for Kevin and Noah. During lunchtime, when the lunch ladies have to make lunch for us and stuff, I would say they would like to have a break during it. But every day, except Sundays and Saturdays, you have to come to school and you talk during lunchtime, right? Well, mostly because you talk to your friends. So, the lunch ladies have to cook lunches for every single person who orders lunch. And that would be a lot of people. So, I'm confused by what you mean. It's like, sometimes, you know how you go to school and you do this stuff during the day, and do whatever sounds bored, like science, math, or reading. Like you have to come to school and learn. The lunch ladies have to. It's like.
So, Alyssa, are you trying to say that you think we should have a longer break or not?
We should have a longer break because to learn everything, the teachers and whoever comes to school to teach us and helps us with stuff has to like take care of us, and that's a big job because they have more than one student to take care of. So what are the teachers thinking for the kids? Like, and what what should we have than not, because more teachers are there's less teachers than students.
My round table needs to stay focused.
There's more teachers than students, and there's a class more like 25 or 24 students, and so the teacher can't take care of one student. They have to take care of a big class at one time.
So you're saying they need a break? Okay. So a break from preparing lunch for the cafeteria workers and a break for the teachers taking care of a whole class. Okay. You guys are doing a great job, by the way, asking clarifying questions, right? And trying to stay focused on the person who's speaking, right? So I want you to remember, seems like you are focused on this, but that idea that we're in school to learn, right? So thinking about what a long break or a short break means for that learning, right? So and it looks like to me a couple of you have changed opinions from when we first started, right? Okay, so be thinking about what kind of made you change your minds, right? So think about that.
I disagree with Alyssa because I forgot.
Okay, so I'm saying that if they add more days to the school year, then the families have to change their traditions, and those are hard to change.
What kinds of traditions might they have to change? I'll let that chair.
It's a tradition hard to change, like a summer birthday. Summer vacation or something. They go on vacation every year.
Okay, so are we staying focused on that idea that we're in school to
Learn,
right? So we're going to have a couple minutes. We're going to let everyone know in a minute. There's about 2 minutes to wrap it up, okay? So keeping focused on that, what is best to help us learn? What kind of schedule do you think? All right, give me 5. All right, excellent. I'm hearing some great conversations. I see friends going back into the text, looking for their evidence. Okay. I see a majority of my friends also making sure they're focused on the speaker, right, and taking turns. So some great work on those academic conversation expectations. I have one question I want to give the whole class to think about for the last couple of minutes as we wrap up the conversation. Okay. Why do we come to school? Snyder, why?
So we can learn.
Okay, so keeping that purpose of school, being that we're here to learn, what type of summer schedule or whole school year schedule, Garrett, make sure you focus, should we have to help us learn? Okay, so keeping that idea, what do you think? Also, I've noticed a few friends have changed their opinions. I've seen those papers slide to cover the opinion they used to agree with because they've changed their mind. So when we come back together in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be asking you, what made you change your mind? Because part of working together is learning from each other. And maybe one of your partners said something that you kind of went, oh, I didn't think of it that way before, right? So about 2 minutes, purpose of school to learn. What do you think is best? What are we going to tell Dr. Smith? Okay, all right, 2 minutes to wrap it up.
I think summer break is important because we're not really gonna be doing. You don't have to listen a lot, and you don't have to sit around a lot listening. the teacher talk, because then you can have some time to move around and play.
Now, I noticed your face change when we talked about the purpose of learning here at school. What was going through your mind when your face changed?
Well, when you said learn, that means if you didn't have summer, it would give you you would be smarter and already be ready for 4th grade.
Is there something in the text that makes you think that? Okay, Jack, you don't need to wave your card. Okay.
These classes give students a well-rounded education.
Okay, so how does that prove that students will, as you said, be smarter or ready for the next grade if they're in school longer? Is there something maybe in the text that kind of proves that maybe students will do better if they're, as you said, in school longer? Everyone take a look. Everyone go back and see if you can find something. Everyone back in. So see, back in the text. See if you can find something that will kind of prove what Matt is trying to say.
There's problems of...
Okay, so when you're trying to share an idea, you don't have to wave your card, okay? So you can just put it down, just raise a hand, okay? So what are you thinking?
He's asking his question.
Okay, so let's hear your question.
Actually, I forgot my question. Okay, so first question I asked when you stopped and then we started, I asked if we were all doing the same idea. Me, Jack, and Matthew are doing the same idea. Students should have a long summer break or the same, and he's thinking short.
The opposite? Okay. So can you explain to the group then why you think then? Because it's okay to disagree. That's perfectly okay. We are all unique people. We all have our own thoughts and ideas. Okay, so go ahead. What do you think?
Jack actually No. Yeah. He said 2 weeks of school. Jack, who do you agree with? Do you classrooms or special rooms? Then it would be more fun. Something about the special.
Okay, so you're kind of debating whether or not those music and art classes are important for learning?
Yeah, pretty much. Because if it's that, I think we can debate on that.
Interesting. Okay, because that plays a part in your learning here at school, right? Being part of those or not?
I don't think these guys understand. One people that said that we shouldn't have this. I don't think they understand that we're learning. We are learning how to go there. Yeah. We learn how to sing and music and how to play. That you can all do on summer camp. That you can do all on summer camp. Yeah, but we're not talking. Yeah, but this is I know. We have 180 days, I think it is. Yeah, 180 days. Before we get that long summer break. So we gotta have something that's gonna be fun. Actually, which day is this? School? January 9th, 2017.
Alright, I'll be focused.
No idea.
I'll focus.
I think it's like these stuff. If you want better grades, so you don't forget subtraction. Oh, and Kevin, sometimes you could ask a friend or ask a teacher for extra help when you need math or reading.
Camilla, what are you thinking right now? Looks like you have a thought in your head.
I'm thinking that students should have a long summer break or should not have a long summer break.
Oh, okay, so you've changed your opinion since when I last came over?
No,
that was your opinion, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
So, students should not have a long summer break because it seems like since if you split it out into 4 quarters, it seems like you get a lot of time off in each time because you get like 2 weeks and then you'll still get summer break but a bit shorter. And some students necessarily might not need summer school because well, they might not need it because they're going to school and they still get to work. I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I think we should have a short summer break because then it gives us a rush of our school year. So we have a short
I changed my mind like 3 times already.
So you went back and forth. So your friends must have some convincing arguments then, huh? Yes.
He thought this should be special, and then he thought it was like should, and like for like when we said that person was at that demonstration.
So Lewis, are you finding that you're learning then from your classmates as you're talking? Making your brain work, huh? Good. All right. Well, we're going to share some thoughts together as a class. All right. Give me 5. All right. I'm going to put hands down. All right. Let's focus back together. Okay. So, what are we thinking after this conversation in your groups? Because I've gone to every group a couple of times here, and every once in a while I would go to a group and someone's mind had changed and then changed back again and then changed back to where they started. Lots of thinking going on. We're working those brains hard today. So, Matt T., what were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking they should have summer because you get to spend time with your family before they get older, and then when you get older, you won't actually get to spend time with them when you're in college.
Okay, what do you guys think about that? Any questions, thoughts, ideas? Adding on to Matt T. Kayla, what are you thinking?
I agree, but because with summer break, we can do all these things, but in order to keep our memories fresh for the next year, in my old school they sent us a packet with what we learned in the year before so we can practice over the summer so our memories are still fresh.
So what are you suggesting then, that we should have a longer break or a shorter break?
Yes, a longer break.
Okay, so you're okay with the longer break. Okay. What are we thinking here? Abby, what are you thinking?
I think summer break is important because you can still learn over the summer because you can probably go to summer school because you can learn stuff there and still remember stuff when you come back to school instead of not remembering a lot of stuff.
So that almost sounds like you think we should be going to school over the summer. You mentioned summer school.
Because there is summer school. I usually do that over the summer sometimes.
Okay, so does that help prepare you then for the next year? So that sounds like then you think the school over the summer is a good idea. Having the shorter break, going to school for a little bit.
It should be a longer break, but you should still have summer school.
Okay, so that's still school, Abby. So we're still going to school there over the summer. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that? Anyone else who kind of had that thought? Let's hear from that other side a little bit, that we should have some school. Kevin, what were you thinking? Be patient, be patient.
We should have a short summer break because the 2 months of one long summer break feels like a really short break, and I think a lot of little breaks would feel like a lot of summer breaks.
Okay, what about the learning piece? What about our focus on learning here at school? Anything you think that might help with learning if we had shorter? Take a look back at your text and your evidence that you pulled out. Look at your map there, your organizer. You okay? Okay. And he's looking back in that text for his evidence. Matt T, I need you to focus.
Student scores on tests often drop
When?
during the long summer break.
So what do you think wouldn't be a problem then if we had a shorter break?
We wouldn't forget over like 2 weeks.
Okay. Ella, something, you're jumping in your seat there. What are you thinking?
Well,
Abby, keep it in your desk.
I'm thinking the same thing because
would seem like you have a lot of breaks, and then you wouldn't necessarily need summer school, because if your summer is a bit shorter, you'd still be going to school, but it wouldn't be just a few kids from your class. It would be your whole class.
Oh, so you think everybody would benefit then? Okay. Clay, what were you thinking?
I think we should have a little summer break, because sometimes you might, over the summer, some kids might not have good test scores once it's done with summer break.
Okay, so your concern is the same as Kevin's over here, that students forget things and scores drop over the summer. Okay. Abby, what were you thinking?
I agree with Kayla, because maybe if you did have school this summer, you could sweat, and then you kind of won't, your work won't be hard enough, because if you sweat on the paper with water, you wouldn't really use waterproof paper, and so the water is not going to help. It's just going to make that you can't see it.
Okay, so concerned with the heat. Okay, Chris, what were you thinking?
I think we should have a long summer break so that so that older students could get a summer job.
Oh, so you found that piece in the text that talked about older students being able to get a job, and why do you think that's important?
So that people could get money.
And what might students be trying to save money for?
For jobs.
Well, they have the job to make the money. Where might students go after high school?
College.
Okay. And do you think that would be important? Interesting. Angela, what were you thinking? And then we'll have Sam as our last thought for right now.
I agree with Chris, because you need money for college, and if you're doing school and you have a lot of homework, you can't really save the money for college.
Okay, Sam, last thought for this.
I think you should have summer, because you need a break, and traditions are hard to change. Really hard. Because I can add a thought, because I go on vacation too.
And when do you usually go on your vacation?
In the summer.
Interesting. Okay, so that would be hard for you to change. Are you able to learn on your vacation? Yeah? What ways might you be able to learn? Bringing us back to our purpose for school. How might you be able to learn? Connor, what are you thinking?
If you still have more pages that you still didn't do over that year, you can do those while you're at home over the summer.
Okay, so continuing to practice things like facts and pages and things like that to help keep your learning going, that's a possibility. What other ways might you be able to learn over the summer? Snyder, what are you thinking?
We can use the packet that Kayla was talking about.
Okay, is that what you were going to say, Kayla?
Well, actually, I was also going to say, if you go to different places, like a common place that people go to this summer is Hawaii, and like if maybe in 4th grade we learned about different places, you would know a lot about the place that you were visiting.
Is that learning? Absolutely. Interesting. So as we've had this discussion in groups and as a class, has anyone had their mind completely changed as we've worked? Anybody? Abby, Clay, few people? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So what made you change your mind? Ella, what made you change your mind? What was the thing that pushed you over?
Well, like in this, like the thing that pushed me over was because, like, since I thought students should not have a long summer break, I thought that because it says over the summer students' scores drop maybe on tests or on work that wasn't necessarily a test, and then teacher would have to go back and look at work, and then they would notice that. So it pushed me over because you get you get more breaks, so you wouldn't feel like ever to have a break, and then you would still go to school, and you'd still go to school, and you would be able to learn, so you wouldn't necessarily need summer school to learn.
Okay, so we've had a couple people change. So we took a vote in the beginning about what the class thought. And I think we had everybody on that very first day we read this article saying, you know what? I think we should have a long break. So let's see where we stand now, because I have a feeling we're gonna be a little bit more divided. So who thinks they're going to write a letter to Dr. Smith suggesting that we change our school year in some way? Hands up nice and high. Changing our school year in some way. All right, so we have a few friends who have changed their minds. Who thinks that the longer summer break is still a good idea? So you're going to suggest that he keeps it the way it is. See a couple people kind of hesitating there. Is anyone still kind of on the fence or in the middle? Hasn't quite made a decision. Couple people. All right, so some people are leaning one way, but maybe aren't 100% convinced yet. So if we still aren't convinced, what could we do as students who want to learn more about this? What could we do? Where could we go? Lewis, what do you think? Where could we go to maybe get some more information about this idea of school and summer breaks?
On the internet, maybe?
Okay, maybe do some research there. Anything else you could do to maybe get some ideas to help you? Sam?
Read a book.
Okay, maybe find a book that talks about the impacts. Kevin?
Edmodo.
Ooh, what would you be able to do with Edmodo?
Think Central.
Well, go to Edmodo there. You had an idea with Edmodo.
Oh.
What would you be able to do on there that might help you?
Play the games.
And how might that help you decide?
There's like spelling games on there.
Okay, so it sounds like that would help you learn, but how would that help you decide whether a long break is the right thing or not? Think about what you could do as a class on Edmodo, because you were onto something there. Want to call a friend to help you out?
Later. You can talk to each other.
Ooh, continue our conversation, right? Maybe Lewis goes and looks something up and finds some information, puts it on Edmodo so you guys can discuss it further. That is definitely a possibility, getting some more opinions and ideas. All right, so when we come back together to continue this tomorrow, we are going to start drafting our letters.